When the pressure of a stressful day mounts, the human mind tends to shrink. We lose the horizon. Instead of seeing a life, we see a checklist of crises closing in from all sides. Consider Carol. She spent half the day scrubbing floors and organizing closets for out-of-state guests. Meanwhile, her 4 young children swirled through the house, leaving a fresh trail of crumbs and chaos in their wake. Then she spotted the glass doors. She had just polished them that morning. Now they were covered in peanut butter and Oreo cookies, complete with finger streaks and tiny nose prints. This is the trap of the immediate. Under acute stress, our cognitive bandwidth narrows. The brain filters out context and hyper-focuses on the negative surface data, in this case, a ruined window. Since daily life guarantees a constant stream of messes, frustrations, and setbacks, we have to ask, how do we stop our minds from collapsing under the weight of the immediate problem? Carol's panic was interrupted by a ringing phone. It was her mother, calling from a state away, removed from the immediate stress. Hearing Carol's frustration, her mother offered a different view. She mentioned a mirror in her own home, covered in sticky handprints her grandchildren had left a month prior. She hadn't wiped them away. Instead, she showed them off to friends as priceless artwork. This is the psychological mechanism of a cognitive reframe. The objective reality of the mess does not change, but the brain assigns that data a positive meaning. Applying this neutralizes the stress response. The anomaly becomes evidence the family is together. We rarely have the power to alter the physical evidence of the messes in our lives. We do, however, possess control over the emotional value we choose to extract from them. This tool acts as a survival mechanism for profound grief. Mark was a 33-year-old father who fought a battle with cancer and lost. He spent his life chasing a dream of playing professional baseball. When his son, Matthew, was born, Mark asked that love of the game down, teaching him how to swing a bat before he was 4 years old. The raw, objective tragedy of it is unyielding. Mark died on a Sunday, just one day before he was supposed to watch Matthew play his first official game. The next afternoon, Matthew stepped onto the field wearing his father's number, 7. He applied his own reframe, telling his mother that he would dedicate his first hit to the father he trusted was watching him. Reframing this grief into a legacy does not erase the reality of death. It takes the pain and alchemizes it into a mechanism, allowing love to endure. The philosopher Rabbi Samuel H. Holdenson argued that true kindness is defined by an inability to remain at ease when another person is troubled. Empathy demands a response. One morning, Grandma Goss wrote out messages of faith, sealed them inside 200 glass bottles, and tossed them into the surf of Cocoa Beach. Months later, one of those bottles washed ashore and ended up in the hands of a grieving widow. She was raising 11 children on an isolated farm, living without electricity after her husband passed away. Reading that note by candlelight, a stranger received a sudden shift in perspective. This isolated action reached someone in distress hundreds of miles away, months after the bottle first hit the water. Human empathy crosses language barriers effortlessly. Whether you read a story of resilience in English or its translation in Vietnamese, the emotional resonance remains the same. We have zero control over the unfair tragedies we face or the tides of the ocean. We do, however, retain power over our internal lens. Surviving life requires us to look at the fingerprints on the glass, not as a burden, but as proof of life.